cups. And also there's a difference if the flour is sifted or unsifted. And I'll explain that in a second. But depends how many cups of flour you're allowed to make a blessing on it. If it's less than that measurement, you can't make a blessing. So you have to have a minimum requirement on the quantities of flour. The difference between the flour being sifted and unsifted, the reason is because it becomes more thin, more powdery after you sift it. The second reason why we sift the flour is because usually flour in the olden days more than now had little animals, and in order to get rid of the bugs, because bugs is something that you cannot eat, it's not kosher, so it's not really for us to consume it, to make sure if there is bugs that like, I don't know what's the bug, growers on the flour. If you find one, you could like throw out. If you find more than 3, you have to throw everything. So, or give it away to somebody who doesn't mind. Yeah. So the first step that we do, so that's as far as the requirements. Then I go on to explain how to separate the challah, which we're going to do with that batch. And we'll do it as soon as this one is going, so we'll have time for this one to rise.
It's a combination of different flours.
You could use different flours, but there are certain flours that you don't have, that is not, it's about those grains. It has to be wheat, rye, barley, spelt, no. All of those require the blessing if it's more than 15 cups. Good? If it's a different one, or sometimes if you mix it in certain ways, then you don't need to make the blessing.
Are all of these in this challah that we're going to make?
So the challah that we're going to make right now is only wheat, because I'm not great at doing interesting challah that sometimes on rice. They're complicated, and if you don't get the measurements right, sometimes it will not rise, and it'll be just hard.
I've baked bread before and I've not been successful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it doesn't come easy, but it's
the rising part.
It's the rising. So for the rising, the first thing that we need, I'll just explain the handout and then we'll go on to the next thing. The recipes, you have one that is a sweet challah. We're going to do the gourmet challah. The gourmet challah, I'm very attached to it because it always comes out good. And because it was given to me by a woman who supported her family by baking about 300 challahs a week. Wow. In Florida. And she had a bunch of kids running around. And when I went to visit my mother-in-law, the whole block smelled like challah. So I used to help her, and then once she moved to Israel, she said, you know what, I'm going to give you my recipe. So that's her recipe, actually, and I have been doing it for 20 years. And
do you make every Friday, every Shabbat?
Every Shabbat, yeah, every Friday. And I drop off whenever I know somebody in the hospital, I like to drop it off. And I'll just tell you briefly why I like to drop it off. 10 years ago, when I had my son, I had a lot of complications, and I almost did not make it out of the hospital, and I was, on ICU for 2 weeks, and etc., etc. The first meal, it was during the high holidays, and the first thing that they brought me, because it was the holidays, was little bread challah roll that was like this, and it was the first scent that I had that was like, it brought me to a different dimension, and it's very powerful. It was very powerful for me to, I baked before that, but sporadically because I had small children at the time, and after that I made a commitment to clean either if I can, to try to do bread every week if I can. So it's
My cousin would die every Friday. His partner's wife would bring fresh challah, and we all would have it in the house. So we didn't like candles when we did that. It was so nice. I saw it. I said that was like unbelievable.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to do this, because that was the thing that you said to me downstairs, Rachel, I really want to learn how to bake challah.
But it could have been after this.
And I was thinking to myself, because downstairs I don't think that will allow me to do anything, please. So you see, thank God they moved you here, because no way. And I was saying to myself, how could I sneak in with everything?
No, impossible.
I'm telling you, I really appreciate it, because it's a beautiful mitzvah, and it's a great opportunity to do it. I'm sure we're all connected in some way, and I really appreciate it. And I want to thank Ruthie she follows all my craziness, so thank you so much for always being there. The last page is quick hints. A lot of the bake, we're going to do this one in 1 second, but a lot of the hints are what makes the bread happen or not happen. So those are kind of experience.
Let the dough rise at least twice.
Right. If you make your dough and right away you braid it and you put it in the oven, it's not gonna rise enough and it's gonna become flat
And heavy.
and heavy. And some of the things I tell you here is like check the eggs for blood are also things that has to do with halacha, with Jewish law. Another thing that is, one thing that is very important is to always put in your oven a container with water. Because in the bottom shelf, so the water boils and gives humidity to the bread and it makes it very, very soft. So that's something that also,
Okay.
I usually use like to make cookies, a little bit like that. But even a foiled one with water, it's fine. Yeah.
Foil.
Right. So now we're gonna do the challah because I don't know how much time you allow me, but
30 minutes.
we have 30 minutes. So let's get going with the challah and then we'll go back to spiritual stuff.
So just
Oh,
let
this,
us know.
whoever wants
Look
to
at
have
that.
one of
Yes,
these.
yes.
Ooh.
I love that.
The dough is right. Should we make, if she makes the blessing on this one, she could roll it and we could put it in the oven, or we could just make this quickly in about 5 minutes takes to mix it all together because everything is done.
It's up to you. How long that will take? 5 minutes to mix.
Just to mix together and make the dough here and then I could take it home as is.
Okay.
And then we could take that one, make the blessing, and then, should we do that one first?
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
that.
let's do that first. So, I'll just,
here.
so this challah, as you see, was done about a half hour
I
ago.
love this.
Exactly.
This is like so much.
This is a little bit over 15 cups of flour.
Can I touch this?
You may touch.
How many loaves of bread is that going to make?
Between 6 and 8.
How do you unlock this?
Depends how big you make them. So I'm going to bring it to Jennifer.
You should touch that dough. Yes.
No, we're going to bring it to
Oh,
you.
you're bringing here, okay.
Yeah. I'll just ask you to...
Your hands are clean.
Mira, quiero te poner la cabeza pero no se completa. Okay, so you're going to take a piece of the size of an egg or bigger, and you're going to make the bracha. And you pull it out.
Wait.
Baruch, say, before you pull it out, Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'afrish challah. That is the mitzvah, the commandment part of it, and I'm going to take this piece home and I'll burn it. Because they will throw us out of here if we do. Anything here.
Can you repeat the prayer again? Can I say it twice?
You could say, Baruch Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'afrish challah. Say it. Baruch שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. I think that is the most powerful prayer you have
I
said.
love that prayer. I always respect it. I just can't always remember it, but I acknowledge I call them Shehekianu moments.
Shehiyanu means thank God that you made us arrive to this moment.
First, when I do something for the first time.
Or when you do something for the first time, or when you wear a new garment, we say that blessing. Or the new fruit also. When we do the new fruit for Rosh Hashanah, we also say the bracha Shehechayanu. That we arrive to this. Do you want to hold on to this one?
Hold the dough or the...
No, if you want to, I see, or do you want to come and do, maybe, should we make one? This I'll take separate, okay? So now can we bring Jennifer here? So we're going to... Can we use this? Can we use this?
You want a towel?
I need,